Hello, everyone, and after a very long hiatus, welcome back to another episode of Film Duels. We're very excited to finally be bringing a new episode out because we haven't in a while, and so let's introduce who we have today. So, first off, we have Tristan from Movie Reviews 100,
Happy to be here.
Film Buff 007,
What's up?
and then we have William, aka Psycho Reviewer.
Hey, Sam.
All right, so question one. Because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was released whenever it was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the first question is, what movie has the best soundtrack? So, Tristan, you can start us off. You have roughly 2 minutes. I won't be too strict with that.
So, there were different ways I thought of approaching this question. First of all, I was thinking of a soundtrack that I thought had a replay factor and had the best songs on it. But then I decided to choose a soundtrack that didn't only have some great tracks, but also elevated to the film as well. So I picked the soundtrack for Juno. Basically, with Juno, I think that it really it was a really important part of the film, and it kind of created the tone. The music on Juno was very almost childlike, and it had a certain feel to it that really suited with the theme of the movie. There was some French music on there. There was Velvet Underground, a lot of really great indie artists that were exposed because of Juno, and they ended up getting a lot of fame because of it. And I just thought that it did a really good job. They did a really good job of creating the tone. It's a great soundtrack, and definitely I've never seen a soundtrack that contributed to the film as much as Juno did. Because besides Ellen Page's fantastic performance, I thought the soundtrack is what really made the film have that great tone.
All right, really good introduction argument there. Next, we'll go to you, Film Buff. What did you pick?
For best soundtrack, this is in the honor of Guardians 2 coming out. And though it's recent, I picked Guardians 2. There's more to the soundtrack than really any other I've seen before. There are other great ones like almost any Tarantino movie. Even the first Guardians, American Hustle, even Juno, I'll give you that. But there's none that really carry as much emotional weight as Guardians 2 did. It adds to the film's core. It makes it identifiable as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and it has some of the best songs in any soundtrack. Any song in the film is used perfectly to either accentuate the tone, what the characters are going through, what the plot is going towards. It helps move the film along and move the characters along and give us an insight into what both of those mean. And I feel like most other films don't really do that. I love, I love the first Guardians, and it does that to an extent, not as much as Guardians 2. The first Guardians uses its soundtrack to almost use it as an emotional crux of the film, but this one uses it to make us understand the characters and the narrative more, and I think that's what makes it the best.
All right, really good arguments. I am just going to say that you can talk spoilers for Guardians 2. I'm going to put up an official spoiler warning right now for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 if you haven't seen it.
So I can use that later?
Yeah, you can use
okay.
that specific song played over the specific special device.
All right, cool.
That works very well. All right, now to close off the opening arguments of spicy, yes, big goal. Sorry, the intro for round one. William, go ahead with your pick.
All right. I have one question for you guys, and that is, do you like Huey Lewis in the News? My pick is American Psycho. For a soundtrack to truly be great in a film, it has to have a significant role and be a part of the movie, not just in the background, so you can download it on Spotify or something and listen to it afterwards. It has to be something memorable and attribute the movie, and it has some great songs like Hip to Be Square, Walking on Sunshine, Simply Irresistible, Into Deep, Studio, and Greatest Love of All. it's like a character. It's like a character in the film. It plays a significant role in it. If you take away the soundtrack, it affects the movie as a whole. You wouldn't have the amazing dialogue sequences by Bateman when he talks about how great Huey Lewis album is, or Whitney Houston, or Phil Collins, or whatever. It just fits so great with the dark comedy aspect of the movie. Like when he listens to Walking on Sunshine and it has this pissed off look on his face. It's just, it doesn't match at all, but it creates some funny scenes.
All right, those were three really great arguments to open up the first round here. So now let's get into rebuttal now. So Tristan, you can start us off with your rebuttal of the other two, and support your own argument if you want to.
All right, cool. Well, I thought both soundtracks that you guys picked were really great. Especially, well, Guardians 2 has like a really fantastic soundtrack, and American Psycho also has a really good soundtrack as well. But I feel like both of those soundtracks have songs that a lot of people do know, and songs that people knew before the films came out. Like for Guardians 2, sure, maybe this generation and some people didn't know The Chain, but for the most part, like songs like The Chain and Brandy and can't really think of other songs, but anyways, they're pretty well-known tracks, and when I think of them, I don't really identify them with Guardians 2. Same goes for American Psycho, and with American Psycho, the only song I can really think of is Hit to Be Square. Like, I don't really think I don't really think of American Psycho when I think of the best soundtracks. I think of that one specific moment, but I don't feel like it plays a part. Like, I don't feel like it's as central to the movie as the other two. But with Juno, I feel like Juno exposed some indie artists and really got them popular. Like Juno was a best-selling album. Like the soundtrack, it's one of the, I think, most popular movie soundtracks of all time. And it just really, it was central to the film because it created a tone. And it may not have been, so blatantly obvious like Guardians 2, but it definitely had a big presence in the film. And again, it exposed artists like Velvet Underground, Mott the Hoople, and some other really great ones that may not have had as much success. Like those two obviously are bigger artists, but ones that may not have had as much success without the film.
Wrap it up.
Yeah, that's it. I'm good.
That's all? Okay.
Yeah.
Good argument there. We'll go over to you, Film Buff.
Okay. I know I said Juno's soundtrack is a good one, and it is, but when I think of Juno, I don't think of the soundtrack. I think of the script, and I think of the characters, and I think of the direction, and I think of what that brought to the table at the time. I don't ever think of the soundtrack. I can't really remember any singular song on it, and it didn't really add much to the film. Like, if you just took most of it out, it wouldn't change much. And American Psycho, I think most of where the brilliance of its soundtrack, I guess, it stems from is more of the dialogue that is written around what's playing in the background, not specifically the soundtrack itself. And other than Hip to Be Square, I think you could take most of it out and you'd still have a solid movie. With Guardians, it's literally in the bloodstream of the film. There's nothing, like, you couldn't remove the soundtrack from the movie and still have a solid film. It wouldn't work. Yeah, you could have the good characters and the action and everything, but again, the music lets you into the minds of characters, into the emotions of the characters, into the emotions of the story, into what James Gunn presents you with. And you said I could do spoilers, so I will. With the scene when they play father and son over Yondu's funeral at the end of the film, that's one of the most impactful films I've seen, not just in a big blockbuster, but any film. And that's because not only what's happening on screen, the way Gunn handles it, and the way the actors handle it, but the song, it adds stuff. It adds emotion to the film. Brandy. Anytime I hear Brandy now, all I'm going to think of is Kurt Russell breaking down the song and saying how he and Peter are the sailor in the song. Anytime I hear The Chain, I'm going to think of Peter gearing up to fight his dad. I'm not going to not hear a song on the soundtrack and think of the film. Come a little bit closer. Adds to the sequence in The Prison Break. There's so much in the soundtrack that you don't get otherwise, and it adds so much to the film that it just wouldn't be there.
All right, that was another really great argument. So let's wrap up round one with you. Psycho.
Yep. As for Juno, I can't really remember the soundtrack. I think for a soundtrack to be good, it has to be memorable, and I can't remember a single song from it. And you say that it has well-known songs, and Juno didn't, and that exposed people to more unknown bands and songs and all that. But I don't think well-known songs. It doesn't really matter in this conversation. It doesn't matter if the songs or bands are well-known or not. It's the song themselves. If they're good and they fit well with the scene or movie itself, then it works. And you say they only remember Hip to Be Square. How can you not think of Susudio playing while Bateman is having sex with two prostitutes? I mean, that's in my mind. And as for Guardians 2, I think the first one actually has a better soundtrack and fits better with the movie. Sure, it has some use of the songs. Like James Gunn is really good at using songs at appropriate time and at the right moments. But I think the first one added more with the soundtrack, and it really set up for a second one to build on that. I think you could take away certain songs from Guardians 2 and it wouldn't make a difference to the movie.
All right, is that all?
Yep.
That you have to say? All right. So, Tristan, I'll start with you. I didn't really like your point about how it exposed these other artists, because even though maybe it did, it doesn't really have an effect on how good the actual soundtrack of the movie is and how much it added. So I think William made a good point there. And they also knocked you down pretty well by saying that, it's not that memorable because it's not as integral to the movie and its plot and its characters, even though it may set up good tones. But as these other two, Guardians and American Psycho, both set up the actual characters in the story a lot better than Juno does. So I narrowed it down to Film Buff and William, and I decided to go with William because I think it was Tristan that made a good point knocking down Film Buff, saying that a lot of the stuff in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is actually kind of on the nose, and it doesn't have the subtlety or the clashing tones that make for really funny or really great sequences like American Psycho does, like William mentioned. So that's why I'm going to give this first point to William in this round. So good job, William. Let me just make a note of that. All right, so next question. So we have, I'm going to butcher the name because there's so many different ways people pronounce it, but we have the Cannes Film Festival this week. So in honor of that, I'm not saying anything about the kind of people that go to this film festival or anything, but generally there's a lot of pretentiousness and
triggered
revolving around this film festival. So we've decided to ask, what is the most pretentious movie you've ever seen? I guess kind of in honor, but also not really in honor of the film festival. So I'm going to kick it off with you, Film Buff, the most pretentious movie you've ever seen.
Okay, so the question is very clear. What's the most pretentious movie you've ever seen? Not the one that has the most pretentious moment or pretentious direction or script. No, what's the most pretentious movie? And there's only one I could choose, and that's American Beauty. There's no other movie that beats the level of pretentiousness that American Beauty possesses. There's nothing in here that tries to be subtle or nuanced or even interesting. It's just out there and thrusting itself into the world, saying, look how artsy we are with our amazing script and our quirkiness and our stupidity of not realizing how dull and boring this movie is. It has nothing to say, and the things it does have to say are so thrown in your face with the blatantness. No, I don't. Is blatantness a word? I don't know. But the blatant fashion that it does, it just throws it in your face nonstop. It's going with the messages that it could convey very subtly, but instead just basically throws a t-shirt shotgun at your face with the words that, with the message it's trying to convey on the t-shirt. that you have to unravel and then in big bold letters says on the t-shirt. There's nothing there. It's just like the cinematography, yeah, it's gorgeous. And the direction's competent enough, I guess, but it still just feels so pretentious in every single moment. And I can't help but just kind of hate this movie because it has nothing to actually say without yelling. And that's my argument.
Oh man, I'm sure.
All right, it's a pretty spicy argument there. William, I'm gonna throw it over to you. What do you think the most pretentious movie you've ever seen is?
Okay, I could go with a number of films, but I decided to go with last year's Night of Cups, a Terrence Malick film. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's goddamn, it's boring. It's so fucking
It's pretty
boring.
spicy.
It's not spicy. That's the thing. It should
That
not
was
be
a
called
sarcastic
Night.
spicy. It's really not spicy at all.
It's anti-spicy. It's basically Emmanuel Lubezki. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but the guy who did the cinematography. It's basically his name, filming Christian Bale walking from the back of the movie. That's all this movie is. He just films Christian Bale walking in the water. He's narrating things, and you don't understand what he's talking about. He goes to strip clubs, meets Teresa Palmer. He dates Natalie Portman, Kate Blanchett, and you're like, like think like watching a movie where nothing happens, nothing has any consequences. You don't get to know anything about the characters, like the plot or anything. It's just Christian Bale walking around, meeting beautiful women and dating them. Like they're just walking around, speaking nonsense. The movie thinks it's so smart and clever, but it's just empty. It wastes all these actors like Christian Bale, Natalie Portman, Kate Blanchett, Antonio Banderas, Teresa Palmer, Jason Clarke, Dane DeHaan. Like it takes all those actors and then just poops it out, just right there on the floor. Like, sure, a pretentious movie can be like entertaining, or you can like every pretentious movie has like something like the direction or a performance or something, but this movie has like nothing. It has absolutely nothing. It tries so little and fails so hard.
All right, so far we have two movies that are completely opposite in the way that they are pretentious. So that's pretty interesting. So Tristan, why don't you wrap up the first half of round 2 here?
All right. First of all, I have a lot to say about both of those choices, especially Film Buffs, but I'll talk about that in the review.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. But anyways, the movie. I was thinking of picking, something by Terrence Malick or David Lynch, but instead I decided to go with the director who actually has films that follow a narrative structure for the most part. And then he just took a nosedive and directed this film. I'm talking about Gus Van Sant's Jerry. Probably the worst film I've ever seen because basically, I'll sum this up for you guys. It's a film that not a lot of people have seen. It's was marketed as Gus Van Sant trying experimental avant-garde filmmaking, and it's with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck, and they play two friends named Jerry, not even with a J, with a G, and there's no symbolism or any reason why they'd be named Jerry with a G, but whatever. And they're stuck in the desert for about more than 90 minutes, and they just walk through a desert, and they talk every 10 minutes, and that's it. There's nothing. I don't want to spoil the movie, but at the end of the movie,
you can spoil it. It's
okay,
fine.
all right. At the end of the
Spoilers
movie,
for Jerry, if anyone cares.
At the end of the movie, Casey Affleck and what's his name?
Matt
Damon just walk on through the desert, and the movie continues. They don't even get to the other side of the desert. There's no symbolism in this. There's no hidden meaning. It's supposed to be a tale of two people who are lost in the desert, but it doesn't expand on that in any way. It just shows two people walking through a desert. It literally could be made by anyone. There's barely any dialogue, and whenever there is dialogue, it's super corny and does not work at all. And there's really cringe-worthy jokes about them talking about how they have the same name, and it's not funny and it makes no sense at all. I can't see how anyone could like this movie. I mean, I had a very, very hard time actually watching this movie. So, yeah, Jerry, definitely do not watch it if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, wrap it up. Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching the time.
Oh yeah,
it's
I'm
2:30.
I'm done.
Sorry. All right. Wow. So we have two films that are quietly pretentious and stupid, and then we have American Beauty. So, Film Buff, why don't you talk about American Beauty and touch on the other choices?
Okay, I just pulled up the definition of pretentious just to make sure. Okay, and it says attempting. No, I love you. Don't deceive the man. Okay, no. Here's what it says: attempting to impress by affecting greater importance, talent, culture, etc., than is actually possessed. You know what should actually just be there instead of that whole, correct definition? Just American Beauty, just the poster of American Beauty. Because there's nothing here. It tries to flourish itself with all of the amazing shots and all of the really what it thinks are like deep images and deep themes and deep messages, when it's not. It's just dull. It's one thing that every 1999 and 1990s film tried to convey. Being in a steady family with a steady income is bad. No, you gotta live and bang teenagers and get shot in the face by Chris Cooper. No, that's what this has to be about, okay? There's nothing here. They watch a bag float around for like a minute and they think it's deep. I hate it. There's nothing here. And I know I just keep going back to that one point of nothing here, but that's like the biggest thing about this movie. There's absolutely nothing beneath the surface of all of the naked women covered in rose petals, of all of the drifting bags, of all of the 90s messages. There's nothing. Kevin Spacey's great. Yeah, of course Kevin Spacey's great. But he's Kevin Spacey when he's not great. That's the only redeeming thing about this movie. Everything else is a hot, pretentious garbage that doesn't even do anything to serve a message, to serve a theme, to tell a story, to explore a character, to do anything. It's just there, and it's trying to say something, and it doesn't. And then to kind of like combat the other two, Knight of Cups is just kind of Terrence Malick being Terrence Malick, and it's just like that's quietly pretentious in the way that it doesn't even try to say anything. It's like it's just kind of there, and I feel like you can make the argument for like it's trying to explore the mundane
Wrap it up.
nature of life or something, and it could do that successfully, I guess. And with Jerry, I don't even know what Jerry is, man. That's two dudes walking in the desert. That's not pretentious. That's just weird. I don't know who made that. That's just weird. Because pretentious is trying to impress with flourishes, and it's like Batman v Superman. It's like this is the Oscar bait equivalent of Batman v Superman in that it tries to say more than it actually has to say. Done.
All right, I'm there. Okay.
Sorry, I have a lot to say about American Beauty.
Yeah. Well, you had a lot to say about nothing.
Exactly.
Okay. God, that was so bad. So William, let's talk about your pick and the other two.
All right. I'll start with American Beauty. I think I agree with you with some things you said. It does have some pretentious moments, and some things are very, very on the nose, like the thing with the T-shirt. I think it's overall a really good movie with great performances in cinematography and direction. I don't personally take the movie too seriously. I just want to see a guy go through his midlife crisis. So that might be why I don't think it's that pretentious as you or other people think. And like you said about Knight of Cups, like it doesn't try to say anything, and I think that's a big problem. It like thinks it's trying to say big things about culture and LA and about Terrence Malick's life, like it says that the movie is about, but it doesn't really. Just Christian Bale walking around, and it's supposed to be like all the movies empty, like the empty life of LA actors and directors, and it's just an empty life. But it's like it doesn't really convey that. It's just him walking. It's just like Kristen's movie Gary, with them just walking and talking sometimes. But I think Gary doesn't sound like that movie is even trying. It just sounds like some movies are just about two people or a person or more in a certain situation trying to just deal with it, like in 127 hours with James Franco stuck between a stone and a cliff. Like certain movies aren't trying to say anything; they're just about people in a certain situation. I think that's what Gary is not trying to be, or it isn't at least pretentious. It just happens to have nothing to say, just about people dealing with a situation.
All right. You hit right on 2 minutes there. It was really good argument there. Let's wrap up round 2 with you, Tristan.
Oh man, I have so much to say, so I'm going to try to talk quickly. First of all, Jerry is definitely pretentious because it was marketed as an avant-garde experimental film. A lot of artsy cinephiles do really enjoy Jerry, and even Gus Van Sant has come out and said that it's a very deep film, but he hasn't had anything to back it up because the film has nothing to back it up. It's just a bunch of shots of people walking through the desert, and there's nothing in there, no substance at all. With American Beauty, oh my gosh, American Beauty, in my opinion, is one of the best films ever made. It's in my top 20 of all time, and I think it's a masterpiece. And it's not pretentious at all, nor does it follow like an experimental or different structure at all. It actually has a fairly normal narrative structure. I think the film tackles some really important issues. It's a satire on modern society. It talks about dysfunctional families. Each character is extremely layered, and it builds up to a very satisfying and thrilling conclusion. I think every time I watch that movie, I discover something new. There's so many hidden messages in there, and I don't think it's portrayed in a pretentious way whatsoever. There's nothing in there that is just there without any meaning. There's everything in there has some sort of meaning or connection to the film. With Knight of Cups, I think Terrence Malick is kind of an obvious choice, but then again, a lot of people do like Terrence Malick, and Knight of Cups at least has a lot of cinematography. It has really great cinematography. Emmanuel Lubezki is one of the best cinematographers of all time, and the shots in that are incredible. Sure, it's pretentious, but more than Jerry, I don't think so at all. It definitely is an experimental film, but a lot of people do really enjoy Knight of Cups, and it's a tale about morality, even if it is portrayed in a very different, non-linear way. It definitely has the cinematography and the message behind it, while Jerry has absolutely nothing. It's just a big hole of emptiness. All right, I'm done.
All right. Fun fact before I get to my ruling. Emmanuel Lubezki was the director of photography for the Cat in the Hat movie.
You mean art?
Thought I'd say that. Yes, I do mean art, not the Cat in the Hat movie. I forgot. But yeah, he did the cinematography for the Cat in the Hat.
Greatest looking movie ever made since Norbit.
Oh God. Okay, so film buff right off the bat. I thought your argument, you kind of just said there's nothing there a lot, and Tristan knocked that down by saying it did actually have like a linear structure and stuff, which is true. Even though it does have a lot of pretentious moments, it does follow a linear structure, other than the other two. Then I came down to Jerry and Knight of Cups, and while Jerry may have been marketed as an avant-garde experience, and maybe Gus Van Sant said it was, I didn't hear anything to back up that it was. All you said was that it was kind of this thing, like William said it the best, that it's just two people are in a situation that they're trying to get out of. You said that the dialogue wasn't even like anything trying to be pretentious or deep. It was just really corny. So I didn't feel how pretentious that movie was, even though maybe it was. I just didn't get that from your argument. So I think I'm going to give it to William in terms of the most pretentious film. I think he did a good job with knocking other people down, and I think Knight of Cups was a good choice. So William has 2 points now. Alien movie. Okay, so because Alien Covenant came out, we're talking about what we think the best Alien movie is. Not just from the Alien franchise, but just like the best movie that has aliens in it in general and is centered around aliens.
Okay, so it's centered. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with you, William. What did you choose?
All right. When I think about
Well, I know what you chose, but the people listening don't.
no, they don't. It's a secret.
They don't. It is a secret until you say, or until I say.
Yeah.
Yes, you can reveal it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go now.
Yeah, do it.
When I think about an alien movie, I think about two things. I think about Bill Paxton saying "Game over, man, game over," and Ripley shooting xenomorphs. That, of course, is 1986 Aliens, directed by James Cameron. To me, there is no better alien movie than Aliens. It improves on the original Alien. It's better in almost every way. It's not focused more. It focuses more on the action aspect of the movie more than the horror. It has the greatest alien design of all time. The xenomorph is scary. It's cool. It's awesome. It's really terrifying, and you just think like, even though there's they say there's maybe 20 or 30 or 50 of the xenomorphs, like the Marines, they don't have a chance against them. Like, even though they act all tough, you feel like, now these guys don't have a chance. You feel like you're surrounded. You feel like claustrophobic. It's really well directed. It's a super badass movie with awesome action. And James Cameron, he's like the legend of sequels. I mean, he did this movie and Terminator 2. The guy knows how to direct a sequel. And something that never ever happens to an actor or an actress in a sci-fi action movie. That's Sigourney Weaver being nominated for an Oscar. That's never been heard of before. That's so rare. And it has a great supporting cast, like Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn, and the girl who plays Newt. Like, all of them are fantastic. It's an overall great movie, and in my opinion, in the best alien movie of all time.
All right, that's definitely a good choice and good argument made for it too. All right, I'll go to you now, Trent.
Wait, my turn?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So when I think of sci-fi films alien films and just sci-fi films in general, there's one movie that immediately comes to my mind, and a movie that comes to pretty much everyone's mind, even if they're not like a huge cinephile. I think everyone has seen this movie, or at least almost everyone. E.T. E.T. is just a fantastic film. It's a magical film, and it's a film that I think everyone can relate to and really enjoy. In my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, it's one of the best movies ever made. It's a film that I think is synonymous with the sci-fi genre, and honestly, it was revolutionary for the time as well. It was nominated for Best Picture, which, again, almost unheard of for a sci-fi film. And Spielberg's direction, well, unheard of at the time. Like, there wasn't a lot other than, like, Star Wars at the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, E.T. Is one of Spielberg's best films. It's a film that is definitely considered one of the best family films and films of all time, and it's one that has a special place in my heart and many people's hearts. Yeah, that's my argument.
All right, so good choice again on E.T. You've chosen probably three of the best alien movies here. So, Film Buff, why don't you finish off the first half of round one?
Okay. For the third question, I've chosen yet again another super recent movie, and that's Arrival. Even though it literally came out just last year, I do think it's the best alien-focused film. As much as I love Aliens and I love E.T., I think Arrival is far better than both of those films. Like, I adore watching Aliens. It's like one of the best action movies ever made. E.T. is a great movie, although I don't love it as much as most would. But Arrival hit me like almost no other movie has, especially an alien like focused movie. And I think what makes it work too is that it's not specifically alien focused. It's communication focused. It's character focused. It's story focused. It's a film that could be a film on itself if you take the alien part of it out and replace it with just any other world crisis. And that's what I think makes it work. Even the other two, they're great. But this one has such a strong narrative and such a strong message that carries throughout the entire film. Amy Adams gives one of the best performances of the entire decade as Louise. Denis Villeneuve's direction is just mind-blowing, and I can't believe that he's not done like a bajillion films, because it seems like his almost penultimate film. It's a brilliant script that explores so many different themes and concepts of time and love and what you would do if you could see your entire life ahead of you. It's just a brilliant, brilliant film that I think, even with the Best Picture nomination, even with the Best Director nomination, deserves more love and more recognition as the masterpiece it is. And even though it is recent, it's my favorite alien film.
All right, okay, let's go back to you, William, for your rebuttal argument here.
I'll say right from the start, it's very hard to argue against two of my favorite movies of all time. It's going to be a challenge, but I'll give my best. I think I'll start with E.T. In terms of best alien movie, it's not best movie, but it's best alien movie, and I think Aliens is a better alien movie. It uses its alien in a better way. It's more effective with the alien. Like E.T., it could be like, it's basically a movie about a kid getting a pet. Like, not really, but in some aspect it is. It could be changed for a dog, but Spielberg wanted to change it up, so we used the alien and called it E.T. Like Aliens, you can't change that movie to like alligators or something. It has to be like a xenomorphs for it to really work. And as for Arrival, I don't think the aliens, once again, I don't think they need to be there. Like, the movie is more about language and language barriers and trying to understand and communicate with each other. So the aliens, they don't really need to be aliens. It could be just a person from another country, and the thing about her seeing her life ahead of her, like, that could be like a kind of other thing from a machine or something. It doesn't really need to be from the aliens. I think in terms of best alien movie, it has to be the movie that uses its alien in the best way. I think no other movie uses its alien better than Aliens.
All right, that was a very spicy argument, actually. All right, I'll throw it over to you now, Tristan.
Okay, well, you said that E.T. could be the same, or at least have the same effect without an alien, but I absolutely disagree with that. I think what makes E.T. so special is that it's an alien, and that the creature itself, if you really look at E.T., it's not a cute creature at all. It's not. It's pretty ugly. But at the same time,
it really is.
Spielberg's direction in the heart of that movie makes you really care about that alien and makes you feel like it's almost part of your family. It's an absolutely beautiful film with some very strong messages for kids, but I feel like it's a film that everyone can relate to. And while saying E.T. could be could work without an alien is like Aliens could work with like monsters or like I don't know, but that definitely wouldn't work because sci-fi is like rooted in that film. And with Aliens, it's not even the best alien film in that franchise, in my opinion. Sure, it has some great action sequences, but I don't think it has the heart that these other films have. It doesn't have the strong messages. It's definitely a fun 80s film, and Sigourney Weaver gives a great performance. But when you think of the best alien films, I don't think people would put Alien in that category before they put Aliens. Aliens is more rooted in the action part of it than the actual it's sci-fi, but I don't think it's as memorable or as it doesn't have that same depth that these other films have. And Arrival, as William said, I don't really while it definitely has aliens in it, I don't think it's an alien film. Well, it is, but it E.T. is more central. Like the alien part of it is more central to that than it is to Arrival. And also Arrival, I highly doubt that a lot of people would put that up there with some of the best movies ever made. But with E.T., they definitely would. And also, Arrival does have some pacing issues. It again, the third act.
Wrap it up.
Okay, the third act doesn't work for everyone. I've heard a lot of complaints about that, and I don't think it's a perfect movie at all. But again, all three of these choices are the best, but I think E.T. is most central to cinema, and I think definitely the most lovable alien and the one that people are most identify with.
All right. I think the third act of Arrival is pretty spicy, personally.
I do too. But, I'm taking other people's criticism.
Yeah. All right, so let's finish off this round with you, Film Buff.
Okay, I kind of am against the argument of, well, you could, it's not the best alien movie. You could take E.T. and replace it with a dog that kind of has superpowers. You could take aliens and replace them with soldiers who have new tech that impregnates people with like a creature. And you could take Arrival and replace it with people from the future who have advanced tech too. It doesn't matter. And I'm looking at this out of these three films, which is the best film, and that's by far Arrival, for me at least. And I think in general, it's the best film of the three. It's a work of genius with an incredibly layered script. It has a stellar performance, and it asks questions that neither of these other two dare to. And it's not that these other two are bad because they don't. But I feel like since it does, it gives itself another layer of brilliance. And it carries itself in such a fashion that I think distinguishes itself from the other two more. Again, E.T., yeah, it's a sweet, heartwarming film, and I think it's very iconic simply because of what Spielberg himself brought to the film. But I think if you just strip that away and just look at it as the structure, it's nothing special. And if you take Aliens and it's a good action film for the 80s, and I love it because, again, it's a good action film. But there's nothing there that I think would be memorable if it didn't have the brand of Aliens. Arrival is, even if you take away the alien part, it's still a brilliant film. There's almost nothing like it. It was one of my favorites of last year, and it's one of my favorites of all time. It's just an incredible film. And I think that saying that people didn't react to the third act well, people didn't react to The Empire Strikes Back or Fight Club well. That's not like a legitimate criticism, I think. And I think that out of these three, it stands out the most for me, at least.
All right. So that's everyone, right? Was anyone? Everyone gave their arguments? Yes. Okay. So, Film Buff, I think you knocked yourself out at the very start of your argument when you said that that you could replace Arrival with any world crisis and it would still be just as good, because we are talking about what the best alien movie is, not the best movie that has aliens in it.
You could replace E.T. with a dog, and you could replace aliens with...
Yeah, I know you could replace E.T. with a dog.
Yeah, but it wouldn't have that same effect.
And I think you and William, William brought it up first, but you and William both made good points about you being able to replace E.T. with pretty much anything, like the scene where he heals his wound. Like the wound wasn't that bad. Like you could replace it with a dog, like licking the kid's finger or something like that, and it wouldn't be that much different. That being said, these xenomorphs in Alien are by far the hardest thing to replace. Oh, spicy goal. With anything else, because because there's nothing else like them. They're by far the most original thing, and I think while Arrival is the best alien movie, or just the best movie in this category, I've given it to William again because I think that he made the best argument for why it's the best alien movie, and I think you guys may have failed to reach that, especially Film Buff and Tristan. You guys talking about how good messages and how it's probably the best film, which is Arrival, but I do think that Aliens had the best argument for it because it's the hardest to replace with something else, and that's why it's the best Alien movie.
Wait,
If this were the best movie, with, I think I probably would have given it to Film Buff, but I'm going to give it to William. Round. And this question is a question. And that question is, what is the worst film that is critically acclaimed? So the worst film that got like great reviews, like amazing critical acclaim, like not just good reviews, but like great reviews, and was not exactly well liked.
Wait, is this just me and Film Buff, or
sorry?
Is this just Film Buff and I?
I'm not sure. Do you guys want to run this as a speed round tiebreaker to speed things up, and put one of you to the end, or do you guys want to do it as a full round? Because
I'm fine doing it.
Only.
Yeah.
I'm fine either way.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. Which one do you guys want to do? Because William's in the last round no matter what. He doesn't need to participate here.
Okay. We could do a full round with just me and Film Buff.
Full round with just the two of you?
I guess.
Is that good with both of you? Yeah? Okay. I guess we'll do a full round with both of you. So, Tristan, why don't you start it off?
All right. So, this was a tough question because there are a lot of films that I do not like and that I literally do not think are good that have gotten extremely good reviews. But there's one that really bothers me that I cannot understand to this day why critics gave it such great reviews. And I was going to use this for question 2, but I decided to use it for this one instead. I'm picking a very controversial choice, Terrence Malick's The Tree of Life. This is a film that critics are hailing. Some people, including Ebert, hailed as one of the best of the decade, and I do not understand it at all. I think this is an empty, emotionless film. It's very disconnected. I feel other than the cinematography, there's nothing really here that stands out. I mean, the performances are not that great. Jessica Chastain gives a very standard performance. She's given so many better performances than this. While I definitely admire that it's not following a traditional linear structure, at the same time, it doesn't say anything because it's so disconnected that the story doesn't even work. They throw random pictures of like stuff exploding and showing the evolution of the Earth with these CGI dinosaurs that look like they were from like 1982, and it looks really absolutely terrible. Terrence Malick has made some good films, and I'm not saying that the lack of a narrative structure is the problem with this movie. I feel it's the way he created it. It lacks any emotion or feeling, and it's trying to say something, but it doesn't because it's so disconnected that, and the editing is so all over the place. He throws random things here and there that it doesn't come together as a full film, and it just it falls very flat emotionally and in entertainment value as well. It's just a terrible film in my opinion.
All right, good argument for that there. Film Buff will go to you now.
Okay. Did Tree of Life offend you? Because it didn't really offend me. You know what offended me? Gravity, because I guess the filmmakers of Gravity thought that the audience was a bunch of 1-year-olds and thought that we didn't have a brain to think of any single thing because the characters in this movie are stupid. The symbolism in this movie is the dullest and most blatant thing possible. Everything in this movie, other than maybe the effects, fails. And I don't know how anyone loved this movie. I didn't see it in theater, so maybe it was the spectacle of seeing space look real good and space look real good. But nothing in this movie, other than the effects, and I'll reiterate this, other than the effects, is good. The direction is acceptable, but still, with the direction, it treats the audience like it's the dumbest person alive. The character will do nothing, and when she does something, it's at the whim of the plot. She never thinks for herself, and when she does, it's at the whim of the plot. The plot controls the character, and it's not the other way around. The character never does anything, and when she does, it's because, she's suddenly smart now and knows how to control a ship. And when she's trying to grab onto, like, random things in space, she can't. except when she needs to, because she needs to get inside a shuttle to communicate with Earth. And then she crawls up into the fetal position with the string from the space pod being the umbilical cord, because we apparently are too stupid to think, or we are apparently stupid enough to think that's really deep symbolism there. I don't know how critics like this movie either. It has like 97 on Rotten Tomatoes, and almost everyone loved it. It was almost like everyone's top 10 of 2013. And I cannot comprehend for the life of me why. It's such a bad, and I will again say this again, bad film. There's almost nothing good about it, and I have no clue how this was liked by anyone. And Tree of Life was, albeit kind of pretentious, still had really good elements. Gravity does not.
Okay, so we'll throw it back to you, Tristan, for your rebuttal against
Okay.
that there.
I'll admit, I'm not a fan of Gravity by any means either, but I'll just start off by saying, yeah, Tree of Life did offend me as well. Tree of Life, I felt like Terrence Malick was just shoving things in my face and a bunch of meaningless crap that really did nothing for the film. He was just showing off how smart he thinks he is, and he tried to make the audience think, if the audience said that they understand the film, that they're smarter than they actually are. But this film really didn't work. With Gravity, I feel like it has a lot more elements and aspects to it that actually make it a good, better film. Yes, I felt that it was emotionally flat, but the thing is, Sandra Bullock, and you can't deny this, gave a really, really great performance. She was nominated for Best Actress for this. She was praised. Many people call it her best performance, and she did a really good job, as well as George Clooney, who was not in the movie for very long, but he definitely left an emotional impact, and he did a fantastic job. Also, as you said before, visually, this is an absolutely incredible film. With Tree of Life, sure, it has cinematography, but the visual CGI effects look like they were done back in like the 1970s. While with this, it was revolutionary. It was an absolute spectacle. You'd go to the theater, and many people who saw this in the theater said that they felt like they were transported to space. And also, there are a lot of deep meanings in this film. It's a film about feeling lost. It's a film about loss as well, because can I say a spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay. Because she lost her daughter and she's just floating in space by herself, and that feeling and that longing to start new and to really not give up because of her daughter is something that and to keep fighting is something that I feel will resonate with a lot of people. While Tree of Life throws a bunch of random messages about evolution and family life and never really expands on any of the issues. It's just a bunch of cinematography, while Gravity actually has some good messages and some incredible visual effects and great performances. I'm good.
All right. Film Buff, last argument of the main round before the speed round. Go ahead.
Hey, did you know that in Gravity, she's supposed to be, like being reborn because she's in the fetal position, and then she's hearing the sounds through the radio, like a newborn like an unborn baby in the womb. And then the last shot of the movie, because I can do spoilers, right?
Yep.
The last shot of the movie is her like kind of stumbling on the sand because she's learning to walk. It's deep. No, it's not. It's stupid. It's dull, and it treats the audience like it's a 5-year-old. Again, Tree of Life, I actually kind of enjoy in parts because, yeah, it is a movie about life itself. It is a movie about evolution and just looking at the course of life. It's a gorgeous film, and it's better visually than Gravity, actually. Because when I talk visuals, I'm not talking about effects. Yeah, Gravity, space looks pretty good. Yeah, okay. No, Tree of Life has some stunning imagery that can leave someone almost in shock by how gorgeous it is. Malick's direction, you could say it's pretentious, but it's also kind of ambitious, just in the fact that who else would take on such a vague and kind of expansive topic like this? And you can get some enjoyment out of the film, like most people did. Like, again, and even though that's kind of like going against the argument of the thing, it's like, what's the worst movie that people liked? It's just, there's a lot to find in Tree of Life about life itself and evolution. Just like you said, there's nothing to find in Gravity. It's one of the dullest films. And guess what? Sandra Bullock, yeah, she lost her daughter. Do we care? No. Do you know why? Because she's stupid. She's such a stupid character, and we do not care. And also, no, it's not a good performance. She kind of screams the entire time, and then she cries once, and then she screams a bunch more. And then she kind of like frantically flails her arms about, and then she screams some more. And then guess what? She curls up into a fetal position and then screams. That's it. There's nothing here. It's with Tree of Life, I think there's a lot to find in it thematically. With Gravity, there's nothing. There's literally nothing.
All right. So
I think we're sexist here.
Okay, so before I say what I need to say, William, I don't know if you were listening for the whole round, but do you have any thoughts on who you think won that?
I know it's even, but if I had to be honest, I would give it to Tristan. Like,
Just Tristan?
Oh, yes.
Just by a slight bit. Okay, so I think Film Buff made better arguments as to why Gravity was not as good. Tristan, I think you said there's a lot of nice cinematography, but there's no plot. I think Film Buff did a good job at saying, well, just because there's no plot doesn't mean it can't have good themes and can't have a lot of good messages and stuff. And also, I think Film Buff did a really good job at saying why Gravity was bad. Because you said, yeah, Gravity was revolutionary, but like after Gravity, we haven't really seen anything that's done anything crazy like Gravity did. Usually when something's revolutionary, things follow suit. Like when Star Wars was revolutionary, there was that's completely inspired pretty much every space movie and every space opera that's come after that. So I don't think your point about Gravity being revolutionary was that all that great. And so I think I'm going to give this round to Film. Yeah, that was a really close round, but I think I am going to have to give it to Film Buff to bring it to the speed round. So good job, Tristan, and stick around so you can help us judge. Okay, so the score is currently 3-1 for William. All right, let's just get into it then. Because Fist Fight was released earlier this year, what two actors do you think should be in a fist fight?
Do you mean in a movie or like real life?
In real life.
Oh wait, in real life?
Yeah, in real life.
Damn it. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Oh, I got it. The Rock and Jason Statham.
The Rock and who?
Jason Statham.
Okay. This question might be a bit too spicy for
Ben Affleck and Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder's not an actor, so we can't.
He probably has
he's acted in films technically.
He has.
Yes. He's in Wonder Woman actually.
Oh, he is.
He plays soldier number 37 or something.
Yes.
All right, I guess we can count him then. So, Film Buff, you have 15 seconds. Let me just pull up my timer here. Okay, go ahead.
Do you say Fate and Furious? Oh my god. Okay, the prison break scene alone. The Rock is an unstoppable beast, and Jason Statham is like the most acrobatic dude in the world. I want to see these two go head to head in real life because it'd be the most entertaining thing in the world. The Rock would just destroy everything in his path, and Jason Statham would do flips around everything. Okay. It'd be amazing.
Oh, okay. Okay. William, go ahead.
Do you know who was super excited for the Batman Superman to be released? Ben Affleck. And he became sad after Zack Snyder fucked up his whole career. Now he's trapped in the DCU and can't do anything. Ben Affleck needs to get revenge. He needs to fight Zack Snyder and kick his ass.
Okay. Film Buff, you have a 5-second rebuttal.
That would be emotionally satisfying. It wouldn't be visually satisfying. A giant unstoppable beast versus like a tiny acrobatic dude flipping around everything while everything gets destroyed. Okay, that's fun.
Yeah, well, I think it would be amazing to see Ben Affleck to just destroy Zack Snyder.
Yeah, that would be hilarious.
That would be pretty awesome. But I think I do have to give this to Film Buff. I think his argument just had more substance and more meat. So
Yeah, his rebuttal was
Yeah.
really good.
Film
I was
Buff
gonna go
gets
with The Rock and
point.
someone else, but I couldn't think of an actor that I hate.
I would have said The Rock and John Cena because they're
Yeah, but we've already seen that.
But that's not real.
I know, but it
I
counts.
know I'm offending Gravity Knot, but that's not real.
Oh my god! I have another one. The Rock and Bill Cosby.
The Rock,
Okay.
and, the Rock and Peter Dinklage would be pretty great.
The Rock and what?
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage.
I was gonna go with Peter Dinklage and Jason Momoa, but then you said real life, and I was like, oh.
No, you know the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean, tiny guy.
Johnny Depp? The one, the Vern
The
Troyer.
super, the super tiny guy. He should
Yeah.
fight. He's even shorter than Peter
Okay,
Dinklage.
this
I
could
think.
go on forever. Let's go to the next one. I don't know. This is kind of just a random question. So we've had Jumanji and we've had Battleship.
Kenny Bakers.
What board game should be turned into a movie?
Oh, good question.
Chess.
Chess.
Okay.
Okay, chess. All right, that's fine.
Monopoly.
Chime in with a Okay. Film Buff, you have 15 seconds.
Oh my god, imagine like a Lord of the Rings type epic about chess. You could have like different factions going against each other with the with like the light side and the black or dark side. You could literally have like a giant expansive saga with deep lore and deep mythology that goes into like different species and different castles and kingdom, and this would be amazing.
Okay.
I want to make a series
Okay,
about this.
stop. Okay, that was actually really good. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
William, go ahead. You have 15 seconds.
You know what's awesome? A guy with a huge white mustache. It could be like a really interesting movie with economics. It could be like The Big Short, but actually good. Like it could be an actual fun script. You could have like Aaron Sorkin writing it. Could be like really snappy, funny, and like Steve Jobs like. But
Okay, yeah, that's time's up. All right, Film Buff, you have a 5-second rebuttal.
They're pretty much already doing that. Imagine like Warcraft, but good. Imagine like Lord of the Rings, but literally a chess adaptation. Imagine like an expansive
Okay,
giant
stop.
thing.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm too hyped.
Yeah, I think you went a bit off topic with your rebuttal there. Like you didn't really address anything that he said. So I'm going to give William another 5 seconds just to talk really quickly. So William, you have 5 seconds to say whatever you want.
with chess, you can't really build off anything. It's just like it would be like every other knight movie with like soldiers and stuff like
Okay, yeah, stop. That was a good one. Tristan, what do you think?
Yeah, at first I was definitely leaning towards Film Buff. I liked his argument, and it felt very creative. But at the same time, I do like William's rebuttal, saying that like it's not as creative, and there are a lot of movies about different factions fighting, and Monopoly would definitely be more unique. So
Yeah, I think I was going to give it to Film Buff, but I think I'm going to give that to William because
yeah,
just because, well, first off, Film Buff said that it would be like Warcraft, and I don't think anyone.
I
wants
said
to see
better
that.
Warcraft. I
Yeah.
said better Warcraft.
Okay, whatever.
but yeah,
You
those were
lost.
both really good arguments.
I have a bunch of questions here. What should I? Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, so the first person to say like the movie, it's like the movie, not the pitch for the question. Okay, so pick any of the 2017 Best Picture nominees and pitch it starring Nicolas Cage. I'll give you 25 seconds for this.
Okay, I'm not going with this one, but I was gonna say Moonlight, but then again, he would
Census.
have to have a black face, which wouldn't work. I'm going with La La Land.
Okay. Film Buff.
Fences.
Fences.
Yeah.
Oh my god, blackface.
Nope,
Okay.
no blackface. No.
blackface. Okay, William, you have 25 seconds to pitch your Nicolas Cage La La Land. Go ahead.
Okay, imagine this: Nicolas Cage singing in a musical. You know, he has this like weird voice, and he's doing like he's overacting and singing "What a Lovely Night." Like that would be hilarious, and him like singing a duet with Emma Stone. She would look like so awkward on her face, like him trying to sing. it would just be amazing him trying to dance it's over. He's like 52 years old. His legs wouldn't even be able to move.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Film buff, you have 25 seconds. Go ahead. Fences with Nicolas Cage.
La La Land? Okay. Fences with Nick Cage. No blackface, but instead put Nicolas Cage in a relationship with Viola Davis, and they start talking about monologues in like the 50s. That shit would be hilarious. Oh my god, just imagine Nicolas Cage delivering August Wilson's August Wilson's monologues about how hard it is to live in like poverty in the 50s. That would be hysterical. That would kind of ruin his reputation, but that would also be like the funniest thing you've ever seen in your entire life.
All right, those were both pretty spicy arguments. All right, you have 5 seconds to rebuttal, William.
Nicolas Cage wouldn't be able to bring anything to Fences. It would actually be hilarious to hear him sing in La La Land.
All right, that was a good one. Film buff, Tristan, what do you think?
Yeah, this is a hard one. I can't really think which one I'd pick. I'd probably go with William, even though I think like Nicolas Cage would be, it would probably be more entertaining to see Nicolas Cage in Fences since it's so theatrical. But I think William definitely gave better points.
Yes, Sam. I think I'd give it to William too. I think Nicolas Cage, like if he actually tried, could actually give a really good performance in Fences.
Yeah,
he could also give a really good performance in La La Land.
Because Fences is so theatrical.
No. He couldn't be serious and give a good performance in La La
Land. I thought
Land.
first of Manchester by the Sea, and then was like, no, it would actually be good in that type of role.
Because like Fences is so theatrical, and like Nicolas Cage is also like very over the top.
Imagine like over the top Nick Cage.
Yeah, so I think that could definitely work.
I just want to say I would have liked to pick Moonlight instead. Like, just imagine Nicolas Cage playing a gay black teenager is just hilarious.
Imagine Nick Cage, but like in all three phases of Moonlight.
Yes.
Like as the kid, as the teen, and as the adult.
Mashallah Ali.
Nicolas Cage in Hell or High Water.
No, he's everyone. Nick Cage is everyone in Moonlight.
He's the mom too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing like a Michael Fassbender in Alien Covenant times 10.
He's both the kids on the beach.
Okay.
And he's like breaking off himself.
Yeah. Okay. So there are 3 speedrun questions left. Film buff, you have to get all 3 of them right to force a tiebreaker. Because at this point it's 5-2.
Oh Jesus.
Oh dang.
So these 2 are in the bargain bin for the same amount of dollar coins. Which do you buy, Kingsman or John Wick?
John Wick.
Kingsman.
Ooh, spicy. Okay, so William, you were in first there. So go ahead.
John Wick isn't just a great action movie; it's actually a great character piece. With John Wick, you understand his motivation by this guy killing his last chance to have something to have sorrow with his wife's death, and great action, like a great directorial debut.
All right. Yep. Okay, 15 seconds for you, Mr. Film Buff.
Church Massacre. That's all I have to say. That's one of the best action scenes in like the entire everything of the entire universe. You have Sam Jackson with a list. You have Colin Firth being a secret agent. You have a secret organization that's a spoof on Bond, but also a love letter to Bond. It's one of the best action movies of the decade and probably one of them of all time. Like no joke. It's hysterical. It's action packed. It actually has heart and it's like creative.
Right.
Sorry for the shouting.
You have 5. Okay, you have 5 seconds to rebuttal, William.
The nightclub scene is actually better than the church scene, and John Wick is a original property and not based on a comic.
Ooh, I think that argument was a bit too spicy there. I think. Well, first I'll go to Tristan.
I'd actually give it to Film Buff just because I think Film Buff gave like a lot of really good points about why it's such a great and fun action film. And I think William did give some good points about John Wick, but I think, I don't know, Film Buff just sold it more for me, and the church scene is just incredible.
All right. I was going to give it to William, but since you said that, I'll give it to Film Buff just so maybe we have a couple more questions here.
All right.
All right. All right. Excluding the xenomorph, what is the coolest alien in the movie?
Predator.
The Thing.
Ooh, those are some spicy choices. Okay, Film Buff with Predator. Go ahead.
I do it, dude. Predator is badass. Like, other than the Xenomorph, because the Xenomorph is amazing. They had to do a crossover, albeit it sucks, but it's a crossover between the two coolest aliens in cinema history. Predator is badass. He killed the entire fucking team of like military dudes and only left Arnold to survive. That's how amazing he is. Yeah, something like the cool.
All right.
I have too much left for the Predator.
Yeah. William, go ahead.
The thing is, like, unstoppable. It can kill anyone. It doesn't get killed unless you put fire on it. It could be the Xenomorph, the Predator. It's awesome. It can become anything. It can take over you. It's like the practical effects is so fucking amazing. The way it looks, the way it moves, like the big stomach thing that's open.
All right. I think I know who won, and my opinion's not going to be swayed, but I'm going to ask Tristan for his opinion anyways.
I'd give it to William.
Yeah, I agree. I think William crams more arguments and more points into that section there.
Yeah.
So by a score of 6-3, William is the winner. Yay!
Dude, you swept this round. Like, that was amazing.
Okay, so be sure to follow everyone on Instagram at MovieReviews100, at FilmBuff007, and at Psycho_Reviewer. William, the winner. You don't have to follow me because I don't really care. But yeah, make sure to check out the other episodes of the show if you haven't already. And yeah.